Story time, personal anecdote. So I bought some Genelecs, right? Like, if you guys have been hearing me talk about speakers for a while, I love the speakers. In all of my folly, I always thought like, yo, I gotta get, for my near fields, I gotta get the biggest woofers because I want to be able to hear subs. My dumb Florida bass loving, I would always get 8. Whenever I like actually try to do a mix, like I was always pushing my chair back here to try to get the right sweet spot in the triangle and everything. And it's annoying. Like when I was doing mix work, that's how I had to do it to get an accurate response. So I always knew that I was gonna get a smaller speaker. They sounded awesome. Use them for like a week. But I noticed, right, they're louder than my focal length in the specs. But when I would go to crank it up, the speaker would distort. So I had to go and do the research and be like, yo, why is my speaker distorting? What was happening is when you go down to a 5 or like a 6.5, is the headroom that it takes for like the music that we make that has a lot of subs. This bottom woofer is still trying to reproduce all that energy. You know, that low end takes up so much headroom, it would distort the speaker. It was not the Genelec experience I was expecting. The way that most like sane people who use 5s is they use it in a 2.1 configuration. I had a buddy who, you know, would swear by his kicker 5s and his 10-inch subwoofer. I'll tell you the truth, like his shit sounded amazing. I asked him how he got it to sound like that. He's like, yo, my engineer is, you know, he also designs rooms, you know. So I was intimidated by it. I spent all this time figuring out, doing stupid shit, figuring out how to use near fields that were too big. Long story short, I go and look up how subwoofers work. And if you guys haven't looked into them, they're very easy to use. And what was crazy was because as I come from like car stereos, bro, like that's what I used to do to get money when I was in high school before I started working a real job. Like, yo, let's go to the swap shop, you know, I'll show you what to buy, and give me $100 and I'll put it all in the afternoon. You know, I'll hide the wires. And dude, I know what a crossover is. Felt so dumb because it never crossed my mind to think like, hey, there's crossovers in car amps. Like, why couldn't there be a crossover in the subwoofer? So the way that it works is you go out of your interface with your outputs, you put them into the subwoofer, and then you go out of the subwoofer with another set of XLRs and you go into your monitors. And then you just flip a switch and now all of a sudden your monitors don't play anything below 100 hertz.
Message!
The reason why that's important is because there's not that big buildup of sub 100 hertz energy, which is the majority of the pressure. You know, because that's not there, I can now turn these up and they do not distort. They sound amazing. When I had a car, I always had a subwoofer. But like recently, in my studio environment, never had a subwoofer. And then on top of that, the way that I listen to music now, like I listen to music because my work truck doesn't have like Bluetooth or an aux and the speakers are blown in it anyway. I listen to music in AirPods and it sucks, right? So I go into Guitar Center, I'm like, yo, what subwoofers do you have in stock? And there was a Yamaha there. I got it. I wish it had a foot switch, but I'm gonna deal with it. I just sat in here and just listened to tunes all day yesterday. It didn't make shit. When's the last time you did that? The moral of this story is if you were the type of person who, like, if you're like a car culture person, you know, and you have a space that permits where you're not sharing walls with somebody or you're not sharing the floor with somebody, look at getting a subwoofer. They're super easy to install and it's gonna make like your overall production experience a lot more fun. You'll see. Just do it. Trust me.